Tucker Carlson, an American journalist, interviewed Vladmir Putin, the president of Russia, and it sent shockwaves around the world. The debate of U.S. versus Russia is once again on and in full force. In this video, we settle one crucial aspect of the debate: hypersonic jets. Because hypersonic jets are a massive determinant of a nation's might. They're the most advanced aircraft any nation can have today. So to stay ahead of Russia, the U.S. is in a race to build the most advanced hypersonic jet of the 21st century. SR72, hypersonic jet of the 21st century. Uncrewed, hypersonic, and ready to strike fear in the hearts of American enemies, this is the SR72. It's designed to be the fastest jet the world has ever seen. In a bid to leave Russia in a distant second place as soon as possible, this groundbreaking aircraft is expected to take to the skies for the first time in a year by 2025, which sounds almost impossible. But then again, the United States is no newbie to groundbreaking hypersonic aircraft. Before the SR-72 was the SR-71, the hypersonic jet that served the U.S. Air Force and NASA in the late 1900s and has for the last 3 decades held the record for the fastest and highest-flying jet in history. Armed with a suite of signals, intelligence sensors, a side-looking airborne radar, and a high-definition photo camera, the job of the SR-71 was to gather intelligence in the form of images, signals, measurements, and signatures. It wasn't meant to attack, and so it didn't have any weapons. Still, the SR-71 dominated the skies. None of the 32 ever built was ever shot down. No matter how hard enemies tried, the jet would simply outrun their missiles and bullets with jaw-dropping ease. It could fly to speeds more than 3 times faster than the speed of sound and reach an altitude of 85,000 feet. Missiles of the last century simply couldn't compare. The SR-71 was fully retired in 1999. Now it spends its retirement days relishing in the glory of successful missions as it's wowed over by enthusiasts from far and near traveling to lay their eyes on greatness. But once again, the U.S. is in need of a hypersonic high-flying jet that would leave American enemies and their missiles in the dust or in its smoke. And now the U.S. has it. Its name is the SR-72, and it's a very capable jet. SR-72 Capabilities. The SR-72 will be capable of reconnaissance surveillance like its predecessor. It'll have the best surveillance equipment the U.S. can conjure up like its predecessor. It's a product of Lockheed Martin like its predecessor. It's designed to be the fastest jet ever built like its predecessor. But will it take all of these further than its predecessor ever did? It'll have weapons unlike its predecessor. It'll be flown without a pilot unlike its predecessor. It'll simply be so much more. The SR-72 would reportedly reach speeds up to Mach 6, roughly twice the speed of the SR-71, which still holds speed records today. To achieve this, Lockheed Martin's working with Aerojet Rocketdyne to develop a one-of-a-kind turbine-based combined cycle engine. This engine overcomes the biggest challenges to hypersonic travel, which is that traditional hypersonic scramjet engines alone cannot accelerate aircraft from a stationary position to a blur. A turbine-based combined cycle engine is therefore made up of 2 main parts combined to form one engine. The first main part is a turbine jet engine like is found in fighters today. The first part would accelerate the aircraft from start position to speeds high enough for a scramjet to operate effectively. Once at these speeds, the second main part of the engine, which is a scramjet, kicks into action and thrusts the jet to hypersonic speeds. This is how a turbine-based combined cycle engine works and what will power the SR-72. A similar style engine, although weaker, powered the SR-71 and was able to get the legendary aircraft to speeds as high as Mach 3.2. This was considered fast enough to be hypersonic in the past, as opposed to the Mach 5 threshold today. The SR-71 speed was so impossible for the human mind to comprehend that all of the 12 SR-71s were lost only to accidents. The SR-72 could address this issue by being a purely unmanned vehicle or optionally manned. Another improvement of the SR-72 over the 71 is that it would have multi-role capabilities. The modern battlefield requires a versatile aircraft that can translate its air superiority to dominance in air-to-air and air-to-ground combat, surface warfare, close air support, and many other combat situations. It's no place for an aircraft that simply knows how to run away the fastest, especially with hypersonic missiles and laser weapons that strike at the speed of light finally taking shape. In fact, to be able to dominate the modern battlefield, the SR72 incorporates 3 core technologies. These 3 technologies play a crucial role in whether or not the SR72 would qualify as the 6th-generation fighter of the U.S. Air Force, as the rumors have been whispering. The 3 core technologies in question include 3. Stealth. Stealth is the suite of technologies responsible for making jets invisible in the sky to enemy radar, the human eye, and other detection methods. Although stealth was being worked on in the 20th century, which the SR-71 is proof of, the technology has only really been around for 1 generation of aircraft, with the introduction of the 5th-generation F-22 Raptor. Since then, stealth has gone on to prove its value on the battlefield and show the world that it's a technology that's here to stay. If the SR-72 will be the U.S. Air Force's 6th-generation NGAD fighter, it must be highly stealthy, stealthier than the F-22, which still remains the stealthiest fighter ever built. According to the Air Force, the NGAD fighter would maximize its stealth features by taking an overall triangular shape, internally holding its payload, and having no vertical stabilizers. It's the first fighter in history to be unveiled with such a revolutionary design. Vertical stabilizers had always been required to keep an aircraft airborne until the concept of active flow control came to life in the B-2 Spirit. Active flow control uses computer brains on board to constantly adjust the flow around the aircraft to keep it airborne, similar to how birds fly. The result? Unrivaled stealth, as can be seen in the B-2 Spirit, which has remained the world's stealthiest aircraft for almost 3 decades. 2. Open architecture. If history teaches a million things, one of them is that jets will almost always have room for improvement, no matter how impressive they already are. Therefore, jets of the future, such as the NGAD fighter, are being designed to be able to take on these improvements quickly and easily. Such a design is known as an open architecture. An open architecture allows for interoperability between aircraft, adaptability, cost-effectiveness, and agility in developing and maintaining fighter jets, ultimately enhancing their mission capabilities. With the NGAD fighter able to take on new parts with ease, it can be customized to wield special capabilities required for special missions, or better still, take on new parts that upgrade it into the next generation. Therefore, the 6th-generation SR-72 NGAD fighter could become the 7th-generation SR-72 NGAD fighter. 1. Advanced sensors and weapons. As an air superiority fighter capable of multi-role missions, the SR-72 would be fitted with highly sensitive sensors so it can detect threats, targets, and friendlies from many miles away. For maximum sensitivity, the Air Force would do away with mounted radars and replace them with electronically configured smart skins integrated into the aircraft's fuselage. And the SR-72's sensitivity will transcend individual jets. On missions, the jets would be connected with one another to share crucial data swiftly with friendlies and keep every member of the fleet abreast of the battlefield situation. When it comes to weapons, the SR-72 wouldn't hold back like the SR-71 did. If it'll operate as the U.S. Air Force's prime fighter, it must be armed. The fighter will therefore wield an assortment of America's most lethal weapons, including a cannon shooting rounds the size of people, bombs, missiles, laser weapons, and even loyal wingmen flying alongside to execute mini missions. To put it simply, the SR-72 will be armed to its metallic teeth. This, combined with its speed, sensitivity, hybrid engine, stealth, and much more, is what would enable it to dominate the skies of the future. The SR-72 is a successor to the legendary SR-71, but it's far more than that. It's a hypersonic aircraft that could serve as the frontline fighter of the U.S. Air Force for decades to come, and while it sounds like an asset of the distant future, word is it'll take its first flight next year. To make the flight even sooner, subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. Thanks for watching.